Here at the AnomicAge, we know that these times of uncertainty are stressful. It is incumbent upon all of us to put our fears first and bow down to government tyranny. Gone are the days of freely leaving your home, working, and social interactions. In exchange for safety, we will trade liberty. At the AnomicAge, we understand. However, just in case you want to get off your knees and stop being a sniveling coward, check out the JohnAge project at AnomicAge.com.
Meet Ann Morrissey, who is here with her daughter, Dareth. Dareth is 17 years old. Mrs. Morrissey, I don't have to tell you that most parents would be extremely depressed if their daughter came home one day looking like this. I assume that was your response shock, anger, depression? What was it?
I was extremely angry. I really went bananas.
Yeah, how old was she when this happened?
Possibly 13, 14 years old.
We're talking like it's a disease, isn't it?
Well,
yeah. How did she explain it to you, Mrs. Morrissey?
there was very poor communication until we went into counseling. And it almost broke up our family. But through counseling and Serena, I can understand it better.
What do you understand?
That she feels like she doesn't want to be like everyone else, and she wants to be her own person. And through the dress code and her lifestyle, she's expressing this. It doesn't conform with our rules, but we're learning to cope, and it's a very, very difficult thing. Extremely difficult.
Dareth, let's let you talk for yourself. You're from Long Beach, California.
I just can't handle being like everybody else because that's what everybody else wants, you know. Just because somebody else does something does not mean that I have to do it. You know, I have my own morals and ideals, and I go by them.
Are you drug-free, Dareth?
Yes, I am.
Is this a political statement, then? Do you have some misgiving about the society that you see?
Yeah, there's a lot of problems, you know. A lot of the people are really aware of what's going on, you know, and I don't like it, you know. There's a lot of problems.
What?
I don't like the way society is based.
What bothers you? Give us some of the misgivings you have.
The rich, the poor, the people starving, the wars, you know. Why can't, you know, everybody just get along and just live their life?
Here at the AnomicAge, we know that these times of uncertainty are stressful. It is incumbent upon all of us to put our fears first and bow down to government tyranny. Gone are the days of freely leaving your home, working, and social interactions. In exchange for safety, we will trade liberty. At the AnomicAge, we understand. However, just in case you want to get off your knees and stop being a sniveling coward, check out the JohnAge project at AnomicAge.com.
Meet Ann Morrissey, who is here with her daughter, Dareth. Dareth is 17 years old. Talon, Real, and Chevy.
Propagating truth in a world of lies. You are listening to the JohnAge Project.
Trust no one. Trust no one. Trust no one.
You found it. You're here. You're headlong down the runaway train that is the AnomicAge, and I am your host, JohnAge. If I can move this a little bit, this thing's going to drive me crazy. All right, it's a little bit better. Sorry to be all up in your ear like that. I'm your host, JohnAge. Happy to be back with you in the dark side of the AM. Well, like 20 minutes away from the dark side of the AM, but I digress. Hailing proudly from the coastal plains of the old North State, I will be your tour guide this evening as we take a somewhat satirical journey down the path of murder, destruction, mayhem, and the extermination of human life on this planet. A forced march into obsolescence thrust upon us by a global satanic death cult of pedophiles. Check out AnomicAge.com if you have not already done so. Please like all of the likes. Subscribe to all the subscriptions. PayPal.me/AnomicAge. Patreon.com/AnomicAge as well. That's the best ways that you can help me out, support the show, and make it do what it do. So if you can do no more, just share those links. If you are at all financially inclined and really want to help make a difference around this piece, I cannot begin to explain to you how much money has been spent just making the lights come on, so to speak, around here in the last few weeks. Not even going to get into it. Nevertheless, thanks for tuning in. I can't thank you enough just for being here and sharing in this conversation. So, we're going to do just that. All right, some of the obvious stuff. Man, it's hard to even get into the amount of death and the amount of death that's been really going on the last few days. So we got Malcolm Jamal Warner from Cosby Show fame. That was earlier this week. We got Ozzy Osbourne yesterday. Today we got Hulk Hogan and Chuck Mangione. So we got 4 dead this month, and I'm sure I'm leaving someone out, but those are the 4 on my list of dearly departed. And I throw Chuck Mangione in there, not because I'm a fan of jazz. To be full disclosure, I hate jazz. I hate music with no words. So it's super boring music, but I can't say enough how much I loved his character on King of the Hill, Chuck Mangione. So sad to see this gentleman go too. Hulk Hogan, I don't know what to say about that one. There's a lot of people that hate Hulk Hogan, a lot of people that love Hulk Hogan. We're going to touch on that just a little bit more this evening. And I might very well, in the wee hours of the AM, do a whole nother show coming out talking about death, because if you know me, that's one of my favorite topics, and a topic that I have been just saturated in the last couple of years. But I'm not getting into that either. No. What we're going to get into this evening is this. The sports reflecting culture episode. And yeah, I'm going to do the obligatory coverage of Caitlin Clark and the debacle from last week, or I guess it was last week. I don't even know when the break it was. Of the WNBA All-Star game. I'm going to get into that just a little bit, but more to the point, I'm going to use that as a jumping off point to really delve into the deep end of the pool at some of the larger topics about culture creation, about sports being a reflection of culture, and so much more. So, I can already tell somebody out there is just chomping at the bit to send me some asinine comment about how it's below me to talk about sports ball. I hate these people, folks. I really do. Sports ball. I can't believe you're watching the bread and circuses. It's all sports ball. You're an imbecile for even touching on this matter. To which I say a lot of things I'm not going to say, okay? Just leave it at that. But I'm going to talk about what I want to talk about. And that's what I'll always talk about. So you can call it what you want, but if you want to detract, just exit stage right or left. I don't give a rat's as long as you get out, okay? So sports ball I will talk about. And I'm going to talk about it in the broadest of contexts. George Naismith, creator of basketball, a Christian, And it was meant to be a Christian sport. It's all right that chomps somebody's short hairs, but that's just the facts, Jack. And being in the formerly great state of North Carolina, I love basketball. Always have, always will. Okay? Don't care. Don't care how fouled up it is. And I won't even begin to tell you how fouled up I think it is. But I will say, a huge college basketball fan growing up, and somewhat of a college basketball fan in hiding at this point in the game, because the college game has turned into just a muckety muck of. And yeah, it's all the AAU mess, as Kobe pointed out before his demise. AAU pretty much destroyed basketball, absolutely destroyed the college game. Now we got the name, image, and likeness, further destruction of the college game. I mean, you got the transfer portal, people transferring to and fro and anywhere they happen to go. You have no idea who's going to be on your favorite team's roster from year to year. If they're worth anything, they're gone in 3 months. I think it was the great Charles Barkley that pointed this out a long time ago. But, they say these people have to play 1 year in order to go into the pros or what have you. He's pointed out quite succinctly, man, they only are on campus for about 3 months, okay? So the college basketball season, about 3 months, maybe a little longer if you go way into the tournament, but about 3 months. And please do not think that your favorite college athlete is just hanging out on campus, taking those last few credit hours. If they already know they're going to be a, 1, 2, 3, whatever lottery pick, they already know they're getting guaranteed money, okay? They already know probably if they're top 5 or 10, they're getting name, image, and likeness contracts already as a college player out the yin-yang. So they have no reason to piddly-pee away their time. I'm trying to clean things up here, so you can mock me if you want to for not saying the big words, but I'm not going to. So yeah, that's really what you got. College game's destroyed. The pro game is a joke. I don't even know. I love basketball, so I'm always going to sort of watch basketball. I don't watch it intently any longer. At this juncture, it's pretty much just a distractionary thing for me to glance up at, oh man, who's playing now? Okay, great. I don't have a favorite pro team. I don't follow any pro players. I just love basketball. So there you go. But we got to talk about how this connects into the WNBA and the nonsensical nonsense of the last few weeks that was the WNBA All-Star Weekend. It was in Indiana. Angel Reese thought, oh boy, this is going to be the classic, arch rivals. If you're a old school Nintendo fan, remember arch rivals? She thought it was going to be an arch rivals event. It's in Indiana. It's in Caitlin Clark's backyard. Angel Reese, they've set her up to be the nemesis de jour, which is joke level. That'd be like Vinnie Johnson being Michael Jordan's arch nemesis. What a joke. Complete fabrication. Just a narrative creation to sell product in the WNBA. But nevertheless, she thought it was going to be the great time to launch her shoe deal. Right? Yeah. Going to launch my big shoe deal over All-Star Weekend in Indiana. But alas, just wasn't meant to be. I know I'm looking for something here and I can't find it. Doggone it. Oh, for heaven's sakes. Gotta be kidding me. And I had all these numbers pulled up and everything. What a doggone bunch of doggone. Oh, well. It wasn't meant to be. Bottom line is, Caitlin Clark gets injured, and she pulls out of the All-Star extravaganza. Pulls out of the All-Star weekend. So sad, I know. A lot of people were upset about it. But nevertheless, that's really what went down. So her whole big coming out party with her big shoe launch was just not meant to be, because they saw sharp declines, and I'm bent on finding these blame numbers. I swear, I had all these mess pulled up, and then I closed the window, and then it all went plooey. But I am bent on showing you these numbers at this point. I swear, man. This burns me up, man. We're going to go way over here and see if we can find the numbers. I swear, this is really going to hack my cockles here. There we go. I did find the numbers, you turd-burgling maggots. No, I didn't. God bless America. Anyway, so bottom line is I had all the stats pulled up for you, but alas, it really just doesn't matter because the stats just really revealed that after Caitlin Clark pulled out, the only person anyone really gives a rat's about in the WNBA, after she pulled out of the All-Star game, numbers went south precipitously. So we saw, I think it was like a 60% decline. I'm undercutting these a little bit, but we saw ticket prices in the over $100 and above walking their way all the way down to $64. We saw the obvious viewership of the All-Star game just bottom out. I think we saw a 30% decline in that. Apologize for not having the numbers pulled up in front of me, but all things pointed to Angel Reese's not so big deal at the WNBA. But wait, because it didn't stop there. Because I know what you're really wanting to talk about. You want to talk about this, the mainstay of what we came to talk about today, how all the lovely ladies, and I'm using that word as nicely as I can, came out there with a pay us what you owe us t-shirt on. A pay us what you owe us t-shirt on. I'm going to show you the video, but it didn't stop there because it got even more stupid. They all had the pay us what you owe us shirt on when they came out there for shoot around. Then it got more dumb because even after the game was over, and I guess they were presenting trophies or whatever the bleep it could be, there was some stooge, and I regrettably don't know who this person is, but full disclosure, I don't know anyone in the WNBA except for like 2 players that I just mentioned, okay? Sophie Cunningham is that tall blonde girl, also on the Indiana team. She seems to be a wash on social media. I'm not really sure why, but I keep seeing her name popping up again and again. But I digress. So bottom line is there was some other individual during the trophy ceremony that kept walking by with a sign or something saying, pay us what you owe us, I believe. I don't know. The whole thing seemed like the epitome of the most Mickey Mouse operation you've ever seen. All this really did was make that league look like the Bush League joke, simpering, sniveling, groveling buffoons that they actually are, apparently. Because you had some stooge like holding the sign, like walking by, some chick that looked like a guy, walking by, you know, saying the same thing that was on the shirts in the background of some sort of interview, like a big interview for the WNBA. The whole thing was laughable. The whole thing was comical. The whole thing was a joke. And I'm just going to show you this video, and then we'll move on into the realness. All right, let me take this down. Let me show you a little something. Let's see. Blink, blink, blink. Nope. One more to go.
Kiki Iriafen, unable to hit the 3 in the NBA All-Star game. And right away, Asia Wilson launching. Picking her way up the floor, Nafisa Collier. Plum shovels into Thomas. Thomas misses the left. Thomas misses the left. 3. Here's Angel Reese firing away. Off to Reese. Angel Reese has been on a tear of late. With the Mercury, Nate Tibbetts, their head coach,
and
their system surrounding her, shooting. And as AT was telling us yesterday, they haven't even been fully healthy yet, and they've had.
Oh my goodness gracious sakes alive, folks. That was real. I know somebody out there's going, this can't be real, John. You can't really be showing us this, are you, buddy? I really am showing you this. So that was what the product they put out there for the WNBA All-Star game. And then I believe it was right before or during or after this event. Who really cares? Angel Reese came out there with some quote like, we mean it. We won't show up. If y'all don't pay us what you owe us. I can't do an Angel Reese voice. I mean, I probably have the bass for it, but not her tenor. Anyway, so yeah, she came out there like, oh, we really mean it. We'll boycott this mug. I tell you, we ain't going to show up if y'all don't pay us what you owe us, okay? Check this out, folks. WNBA has been a league since 1996. Over 30 years, okay? 1996 here. Well, almost. What are we on, like 25? No, what are we on? 1996. I know that year quite well, but bottom line is they've been a league for darn near 30 years. and they have not turned a profit yet. It is indeed the Make-A-Wish Foundation for a bunch of ladies, and I use that term extremely loosely. A bunch of ladies, a bunch of lesbians, a bunch of trannies, a bunch of dudes pretending to be girls or girls pretending to be dudes. I'm not really sure what's going on, folks. It's the LGBT League, and we all know it. Since 1996, has not turned a profit. Abysmal numbers, just joke-level nonsense. And still, the NBA is trotting them out every time you see them. There's some NBA star talking about how they watch the WNBA, how they love the WNBA players. Their stars are so relevant and equal to the NBA. They have been trotted out as a charity league, and it only gets more nauseating the more you watch the NBA, because it's quite apparent that it's like the welfare league, and the NBA is the taxpayers, basically. But they're just trying their best to polish this turd, and it's just impossible. It's impossible. I'll play the video again for you, but I can't stomach it, folks. You would see better play at a rec league. I challenge anybody in the listening, viewing audience or otherwise, go to your local rec league. Just go find a pickup game. It'll be better than what I just showed you. And I'm not trying to be mean, disparaging, hurtful, or otherwise bigoted. I'm just showing you and telling you the God's honest truth. Why would anyone pay money for that? I don't know. Why would any league support this floundering joke-level league for almost 30 years? I don't know. Except that it's an agenda, folks. I do know. I'm saying that in sarcasm. It's an agenda league. That's all it is, folks. That's what it's all about. It's all about pushing a narrative. It's all about normalizing this alternative lifestyle. It's all about pushing this to the masses. It's all about selling this to the next generation of kids. It's all about normalizing the abnormal. For heaven's sakes, that's all it's about. You got some coach that's dating a player, some player's dating a chick on the other team. This is not basketball, for Pete's sakes. It's days of our lives in gym shorts. It's all it is. Good grief, man. It's sad. So sad. But wait, there's more, because there's so much more to talk about with this whole thing. What do we got? We got plenty of time. Good. Because this is really just a mirror representation, a funhouse mirror representation of the actual culture. That's really what this is all about, folks. Because whether or not anybody wants to admit it or not, sports has always been a reflection of the larger culture. It just has. So if you look back in the 50s, 60s, and the early eras of most of these leagues and teams and the like, it was all about Americana. It was pro-family. It was pro-country. It was in many ways, even in the pro leagues, pro-religion. It was pro-America. All the things, good, bad, and otherwise, it was America during these iconic times was reflected in the sports and the sports stars. Okay? And I know somebody out there is going to tap their finger and try to say, well, it never really was that idyllic. It wasn't the Norman Rockwell painting. That just wasn't the way it was, John. I got it. I understand that. But I would say that the sports and the sports figures of the time reflected an ideal, whether or not it was real or imaginary. It reflected a positive ideal of America. And what you've seen for at least the last 20 years is a negative representation of America, pushing an agenda of destruction rather than pushing an agenda of fostering something positive. So that's just as clear cut as I can make it. I heard the great Jason Whitlock sort of talk about the parallels between culture and sports months ago, and it clicked in my head and it resonated with what I already knew with my background in culture and the like. But really in the last few weeks, it clicked on a whole nother level. So anybody who knows the anthropological lore of the Trobrianders, the Trobriand Islands, and so forth, knows a lot of that early Malinowski work. And one of the big things that they did in the Trobriands to try to stop them from killing each other and stop them from practicing cannibalism was that they incorporated the very British sport of cricket. So a lot of these early explorers, anthropologists, missionaries, and the like were British. So they brought with them that culture into the very savage, I don't care if you like those terms or not, savage society of cannibalistic Trobriand islanders. So what they try to do is curtail their killing and consumption of each other by introducing an alternative, a healthy alternative, the sport of cricket. And they began playing cricket, and they interwove their own cultural systems into the very British cricket. So they would play cricket not with the starched whites and the like, but they'd play cricket with their war paints and clubs and the like, and they made it sort of this beautiful amalgamation of the two cultures. So it became a reflection of their culture and the more civilized culture of the Brits at the time. So there you see culture becoming a representation in sports. So we're seeing those same parallels. I know most people aren't going to jump the shark and make this walk down the road with me, but it's quite obvious. We're seeing those parallels in the current culture of today. And I know somebody's going to say, oh, the steroid era killed baseball. And yeah, I think steroid era did foul up baseball. And then somebody's going to point, well, what about the cats in the 70s and even the early 80s? They were all on methamphetamines. A lot of those players had come out and said, yeah, they were doing speed or what have you to play better. And like, yeah, I feel you. Every generation, every culture, every sports culture is going to have their own sort of skeletons in the closet. Make no mistake about it. We all know that. We're not saying this is an idealistic anything, but we are saying there's a very clear demarcation in the last 20 plus years where things have just gone plooey everywhere. And the leagues have become a representation of the culture. And the culture has become a representation of the indoctrination systems. K through 12 indoctrination, college, university weaponization. Folks, you want to trace this all the way back to Roosevelt, who first gave us those first little sprinklings of the welfare state. Then you will roll forward to the Great Society, and LBJ gave us the full-fledged welfare state. People having extra kids, they get extra money. You get extra money for no father in the home. Oh, goody. They flood the whole system with drugs, and then they started imprisoning people with drugs with the War on Drugs program under Nixon. So you went from father, mother, central family unit to we're going to give you money for not having a father in the home. We're not going to just go stopping there. We're going to actually give you extra money for extra kids with no fathers in the home. We're going to put you in the ghetto. We're going to give you all that you need, wink, wink. Just like those University 27 studies, I believe. We're going to give you everything you need, and we're going to watch it all go down. So that's where we are today. We have people being rewarded for nothing, being rewarded for mediocrity. And then you have this expectation of reward for mediocrity. You have the entitlement generation that we're in today. People think they deserve something because they made it through 4 years of college. You don't. People think they deserve something because their mom and dad had them on a traveling league. They went to all the AAU camps. They got into college, and now they're going to get their name, image, and likeness. Then they're going to go to the NBA, get a guaranteed contract, even if they sit on the bench or ride the pine as the last guy on the roster. That's where we're at. The entitlement generation is here. It's been here for quite a while, but now that's the proof positive in the WNBA. It's a welfare league. The WNBA is a welfare league. It's a Make-A-Wish Foundation. That's all it is. The taxpayers, a.k.a. the NBA, are just subsidizing the WNBA. Every turn, they're talking about how great they are. Come on, folks, just get behind these women. Come on, folks, just support the WNBA. Please support them so we'll stop having to pay for them. Let them push their agenda. Let them do the gay flag mess. Let them do the whole lesbian league mess. Let them beat up this white chick. It's the only person that anybody cares a rat's patoot about on the whole blipping roster for any of the WNBA teams. It's self-evident. Anytime this girl is not playing, ticket prices go down, viewership goes down. Nobody cares. But yet they're still letting this chick get beat up like a rag doll by all these people on the other teams because they're clearly having wealth envy. They're clearly jealous. Oh my goodness, she's making what, $70,000 or something, playing 3-4 months out of the year, traveling first class now. No, not even. Excuse me. They now have private jets. How does that work, folks? You don't make any money for almost 30 years. The regular planes in first class wasn't enough. Now you're on private jets. 4-star accommodations guaranteed. They ain't staying at the Best Western, folks. They ain't staying at the Days End. Get out of here. That's not enough because, pay us what you owe us. That's the deal. That's the mantra. It's just not enough. And if you look around at our society today, that's the moniker, the motto, the emblem of our entire culture. It's just not enough. Whatever it is, it's just not enough. We're letting anybody in the country, it's just not enough. We're paying for all their mess. They get free health care. They get 5-star hotels. They get to travel all over the whole country. Just not enough. You got a complete welfare parasite class since LBJ's Great Society. I'm going to say something bad. I'll just say it's just not enough. Okay? Just leave it at that. Just not enough. So that's where we are as a society, folks. Culture is reflected in our sports, no matter if you watch it or don't watch it, folks. So you can sit back in the back of the room and say, "Bread circles, I'm not watching it." Doesn't matter. The sports leagues aren't going away. Well, actually, I do believe they are going to go away. The whole plan is for them to implode. All these contracts are going to be butt kiss. And we're not going to have anything but a global league at best. It's self-evident right now that all the European players and players in any other part of the world are far better in skill than the American players. The American players are still trying to get by with athleticism. Their work ethic stinks, Ben Simmons. Fundamentals, joke level. I guarantee you could fill every roster spot in the NBA with European players right now. The skill level, the competition, the games would just completely go through the roof. It's a joke watching the NBA now. Complete joke. Foul calling, joke. Shots taken, joke. Turnovers, joke. Effort given, complete hilarity. And I know somebody's going, it's all a rigged deal. I know. I get it. The John Toohey book, The Fix is In, I believe was the name of it, from like 20 plus years ago, talking about the gambling problem in all sports, but most notably in the NBA, the NFL, and the MLB. Obvious, folks. We get it. It's all rigged. It's all a scam. It's all bread and circuses. We got it. But you also have to peer under that last rock and see that it's also a reflection of the culture. Whether you like it or you don't like it, learn to love it. That's what's up. I'm going to get out of here tonight. You can't do everything, but you can do something. Be safe out there. I'll be seeing you sooner than later in the Anomic Age.
Thank you for listening to the Anomic Age, a JohnAge project. For past shows, further info, and to comment, go to AnomicAge.com. That's AnomicAge.com. Till next time, thank you for listening to the Anomic Age.